Favorite jokes, part 1. So, a Texas oil worker goes up to Alaska for a contract job. The dude gets bored one day after living there for a couple of weeks and decides to go to the local bar that he saw whenever he was moving into town. He walks in and there's a giant wooden plank above the bar set that says Impossible Drinking Challenge with amazing reward. The guy goes up to the bartender and says, "Hey man, why don't you tell me about that bar challenge right there, that drinking challenge? What makes it impossible?" Bartender says, "I don't know if you want to hear about it, dude. It's impossible for a reason." Oil worker says, "Man, don't try me. Just tell me what it is. Actually, tell me the prize first, and then I'll decide whether I want to take place in this shit." So the bartender says, "Alright, there's 3 prizes. A free t-shirt, you get your picture on the Wall of Fame, and you get a plastic ID card that says and proves you get free drinks here for the rest of your life, no matter how many or how expensive." Texas oil worker says, What Wall of Fame?" Bartender says, "Exactly. Ain't nobody done it yet. That's why it's impossible." So the dude says, "I'll decide that for myself. What's the challenge?" Bartender says, "Alright, man. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, you gotta drink a whole handle of Crown Royal in 15 minutes. Texas guy says, "Man, I do that shit on a Tuesday. What's step 2? Step 2, the bartender says, the owner of the bar has a pet polar bear that sleeps out back. It has a rotten tooth in its mouth, and you gotta yank that thing out." Texas guy looks at him and says, "Dude, you gotta be shitting me." Bartender says, "I told you, it's impossible for a reason." Texas guy filled with pride says, "You know what, fuck that shit. What's step 3? Bartender says, "Alright, step 3, you gotta go to the shack a few yards out from the back of the bar, and you gotta fuck the old Eskimo woman until she orgasms." Texas guy sits there and thinks about it, says, "You know what, fuck it. I'm going for it." Bartender says, "Alright, bud, your funeral." So, bartender pulls down that 5th of Crown Royal. Texas guy slams it back in about 10 minutes. Now, drunk and slurring over his words, he looks at the bartender and says, Okay. Where's the polar bear again, bud?" Bartender says, "Out back. Right out that back door right there." So the Texas guy gets up, stammers his happy little ass out the back. Bartender just shakes his head, thinking, "Oh, we're gonna have another body on our hands." So, he hears the bear wake up, start roaring, snarling, roaring, pissed the fuck off. And then, silence. So, the bartender's about to pick up the phone and call the coroner's office and let them know, "Hey, we got another failure." But as he picks up the phone, the Texas guy walks in through the front door, scratched, bruised, and beaten. But he says, "Okay, I dealt with the polar bear. Where's the old woman again?" Bartender looks scared as shit, like, holy fuck, he actually did it. He says, "Back out that same door, a few yards back. It's just an old shack." The guy says, I'll be right back." Runs. And the bartender's thinking, holy shit, he actually might fucking do it. So, a few minutes later, the bartender hears the old woman start screaming and hollering, and then silence. Texas guy walks in, filled with pride, pep in his step. Goes right up to the bar counter and says, "I fucking did it." So, the bartender says, "Congratulations, man. Alright, let's get you that t-shirt, let's take your picture, and let me pour you a drink so I can get you that card." So, a little while later, they've been drinking back and forth, telling stories, and the bartender asks the guy, "You know, man, I gotta know. I gotta fucking know. The Crown Royal thing, that's easy for all of us here. We're all just bored as shit here. All we do is fucking drink. So that's easy. But the polar bear and the old lady? I mean, dude, what for you was the hardest part?" The Texas oil worker guy, stammering, slurring, looks at the bartender and says, I gotta be honest with you, man. Dealing with the polar bear was easy shit. But getting that old woman's tooth out was fucking impossible.